Some countries are ignoring calls to limit the use of fossil fuels. Thailand's military government has committed to developing its future energy needs from coal-burning power stations. People behind it say this is threatening to destroy some of its greatest natural assets. CCTV's Tony Cheng reports from southern Thailand.
A local official and his supporters shout and argue with anti-coal protesters in the southern Thai province of Krabi. The protesters are trying to stop the development of a new power station. With neither side willing to back down, the meeting descends into recrimination and ultimately violence. Other protests against the power plant have been closely monitored by the army and riot police. And so far, despite numerous objections, the military government says the plans will go ahead. That's a huge frustration for the head of the local tourist association. Mr. Tirapon disputes the claim the region needs more energy to develop tourism. He fears the long-term impact will scare away tourists and damage the region's fragile ecosystem.
So in the future, it's hard to protect with pollution, and maybe it have more effect from climate change.
This is the power station at the heart of the controversy. The fuel source will be converted from natural gas to coal, and the output doubled to 800 megawatts. But the government doesn't just intend to expand this site. It's currently planning 8 new coal-fired power plants and 3 nuclear ones across southern Thailand. In a place that has abundant sustainable energy sources, that appears to be a step backwards. And the impact of climate change is already being felt acutely by the locals.
We see it with the garbage all over coming up. We see it with the bleaching of the corals on the coral reefs of Koha and on Phi Phi Island. We see that it's very, very, very hot, and then it doesn't rain much. So yes, it's all over, all the time.
Even the famous Andaman coastline that's made Thailand the most visited country in the region will be changed irreparably.
You see this lovely sea? We're going to have coal boats coming from Indonesia, from Australia, from South Africa with coal. I mean, it's a disaster.
Those boats will come here to Ban Kong Ra. The villagers, fishermen, fear their livelihoods will be threatened by the increase of traffic and pollution, but they've been warned to stay quiet. We've come down to this village close to the pier, which will be the main entry port for the coal coming in to fuel the new power station. But the locals here are rather nervous about us being around. They say they've been warned by officials from the government and the power company not to speak to the media, and they're concerned that we might attract undue attention. We were told that men came from the power plant with shotguns, warning them to stop their protests and not to speak to the media. But despite the intimidation, the villagers have continued to show their unhappiness. This coastline is one of Thailand's great natural assets, but the locals fear if the government continues to ignore them, it will soon become a paradise lost. Tony Cheng, CCTV, Krabi, southern Thailand.